recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive.
All right. Welcome back to the Patriot Hour. It is Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019. Again, we got some interesting things we're going to go over here this afternoon. We got Ben back for the Beam In. It's going to be a great show. Make sure you're subscribed over here. We appreciate you. We know you're busy. Who knows if you're on your lunch hour or just not, off today. But again, we got Ben in the Beam In.
What is up, Patriot Hour and all the awesome Patriots?
It's awesome. I got the show on behind us. You could see there's a little bit of a lag. You just
whoa. Here we go.
Well, I gotta go
Here
this
we
way.
go. Let's see. See it? Oh yeah, there it is, little back end. So you can see, you guys, obviously we're not, when we do have call-ins and things like that, we always appreciate you turn off any device you're watching the Patriot Hour on, so we can have a smooth and convenient conversation.
Yes, it's one experience to just sit back and watch the show. It's another one if you're going to call in. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to watch and call in ever, because this is not the way it works. Even with us having the top of the line speed and all that, there is just a natural lag from recording to get to you. So the best way to do is to just turn down, do the best call in you want to do, and then go back and watch that episode. After you hang up, you're going to have to either go back a little bit or just watch it again, and you'll be able to see a perfect.
For the those of us like myself and the older generation, just think of the days when you would call in the radio station, and what did the DJ tell you? Hey, turn that radio down. I want to get the echo back in here. So that's what so I take it back to that.
I agree. All right, so I did have a few articles here we're going to look at. Go to the old True Pundit here. Republican lawmaker makes... I did a video. We went over that this morning. Before his grisly suicide, top FBI agent was questioned about NYPD sister's double murder for hire plot. So before his grisly suicide... Hold on, I gotta get Ben's microphone on here.
People, before, not after.
Yeah. Wish I could figure out a way that when I go to a screen capture like this, it doesn't cut off your mic.
You have active. Yeah, and you see, you guys, that's why I'm saying Mike is holding it down there, being the live editor back and forth. And
it's rough.
We're
it's
always
tough.
trying to, but we hold it down.
No, there's tons of other channels I do get out here and there and watch a few, and they're always like, hey, I'm trying to figure out this and that, and somebody was telling me other channels are trying to get the phone call thing going. Well, good luck. It's tough. It's hard. We figured it out. It's
we call that R&D, garage talk. We can't begin to tell you how many hours offline that Mike and I is on the phone trying to knock out situation. We're basically trying to put out fires to basically have better content coming out to you guys. And of course, just, trial and error, honestly, getting in the studio, trying to get that, plugging stuff in. It definitely, more than one machine going. I think a lot of people don't realize that as well, is that there's, I got 2 machines and 4 monitors here. Mike's got multiple machines and multiple monitors going over there. So
somebody said
if you're one machine,
if you're watching the show on your smartphone and you want to call in, well, I don't know.
Pause the show and call.
Pause the show. Make the phone call. You can't. There's no way you can do both with that. Don't even try to call if you're trying to. Yeah, no, you guys are doing great. It's So anyway, what was I saying here? A couple of little updates I was looking at here.
Before with the Grizzly suicide, the double murder for hire. I mean, this is straight out of Holly Weird's playbook of great plots for murder mystery.
Oh man, it's like we're getting calls already, but we're gonna wait. Somebody has a number stored. That's awesome. We won't be taking calls yet, but thanks for jumping the gun there.
By the way, go ahead.
What? Go ahead. What's up?
I was saying I was shot across the brow of the Woodman. He's in the chat.
Woodman.
All the mods up in there, Awakenings, New Beginnings, 17 Angels, Dwayne Newman.
Chris Stockton.
Fondly. Yes, Chris Stockton's in there. Caffeine Addict, So, hey, it's all good. We got a lot of good Patriots in the show. It's a great time.
41 shot in Chicago.
Yes. That was, last... Well, we there's been so much happening. We've been trying to get as much out to you, but I mean, we talked about the mass shootings, and I think a couple of you guys out there was just telling us even in the last couple of shows about this shooting as well that happened over the weekend, because we had put it across, how many mass shootings in the last 60 days have we experienced, and the ramp up of, you can almost see the curve if I had a trajectory of how many mass shootings that's happened in the amount of space of time. We keep on saying it's history.
Yes. I would like to say Boston mayor slams, or that on that Chicago, of course, the mayor was blaming Chicago. He was blaming
people,
the mayor. He was blaming the Republicans. So over the weekend, 41 shot in Chicago. Democratic mayor blames Republicans? ?
Eesh.
So over the 3-day Labor Day weekend, 41 people were shot in Chicago, 7 fatally. Devontae Jackson, 15, was supposed to start high school on Tuesday. Instead, he's now dead. Chicago has among the most restrictive gun control laws, but Senator Ted Cruz, Republican of Texas, took to Twitter to point out that the disarming law-abiding citizens isn't the answer. Gun control doesn't work. Look at Chicago. Disarming law-abiding citizens isn't the answer. Stopping violent crimes, prosecuting, and getting them off the street before they commit more violent crimes is most effective way to reduce murder rates. Let's protect our citizens. I couldn't agree more. Stopping violent crimes and prosecuting and getting them off the streets before they commit more violent crimes is the most effective way to reduce murder rates. Let's protect our citizens, Cruz added. So that prompted the mayor of Chicago to blame all Republicans for the endless violence in the city. See, these people are so nuts that they jump to reactory. The people of Chicago, even, like, they were told, like, oh, if we just start taking the guns of the people that aren't committing the crimes, don't you feel a little bit better because they're at least taking guns? Yeah, and they feel like it's something better than nothing. But it doesn't work because they're not out there committing the crimes. The criminals, on the other hand, are going to get the guns, even though they're already supposed to not have them. Did we not just go over this in the last show a little bit?
We did, and not only on top of that, if you stop and think about it, when we talk about Chicago, it's the Chicago city limits is a gun-free zone. So what do? What just go a few blocks outside?
Well, that's what they start saying. When it didn't work now, that's what they go to, Ben. Well, Ben, because it's because the neighboring states, Indiana, they still got their guns there. So then if you take Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, just to help out Chicago.
Wisconsin,
but then once that doesn't work and they see it doesn't work, they'll say that it needs to be more, and then coast to coast. And then when that doesn't work and they still got their guns, then what? That's where we followed these idiots, and they're like, well, then what's going to work, Ben? You tell me. And they'll get real nasty, and they'll want some kind of answer.
Take them all away. That's what your solution is?
See, so we don't even want to go down that path. We don't need to be marched to the, ovens, so to say, by a bunch of idiots and have to, get to the doorstep of it and then, start, them starting to be, all right, now what? Since you know it all, and my idea was wrong, because that's what it is. They're wrong. And It's hard to get them to see
on a
that.
logical thought process. You don't disarm somebody who's going to be protecting his neighbors, his family, local community. I mean, law abiding. I mean, come on now. If we want rule of law, we're not trying to break it.
Danielle, this is live. This is live right now. I'm answering your question.
Live. Coming at you. Well, live action.
How can I say that it's live? How can I prove it? It's 1:52 p.m. on 9/3/2019. So
it's 13:52 on Eastern Standard
13:52 on the EST. That's coming from the atomic clock.
Now that's synchronized with
the atomic clock, which is down to the minute of the minutes of. Well, I do want to cut to this, that Obama's future is in jeopardy, folks. The declassification will show the role of his administration in the whole Uranium One and the Iran nuclear capability advancement, the money given on the tarmac. There's all these dirty deals. The Uranium One being big with Hillary involved and the State Department and 13 different agencies that had to sign off on it. Well, had they been known all the information? Well, yeah, people have put this behind them, or they just forget about it because we're not hearing about it. And the IG's reports, Michael Horowitz, should be coming out. Remember, they were tasked with lots of work. So we'll read this here a little bit. Go ahead, Ben. Start off here with the speculating,
believing, projecting, guessing of Elder Pat. John Solomon appeared with Sean Hannity on Wednesday night, the night before Inspector General Michael Horowitz's damning report on former FBI Director James Comey was released, with blockbuster revelations that went relatively unannounced. Latest was the human smuggler caught doing, most sick act. And this is, of course, the little link there. It goes on to say, I'm finding it hard to recall a more newsworthy 3-minute than we are treated with this interview. Solomon joins Hannity at about 3 o'clock mark, about the 3-minute mark.
All right, let me see here.
More. We can't get into this more.
In the coming weeks, when we get the full FISA abuse report by the Inspector General, as we have long reported, Jim Comey is playing a starring role in that investigation. Remember, he signed 3 of those FISA applications, all of them down hard on you for lying to a court. So we have good news on all these fronts tonight. And according to Solomon, a new White House initiative by President Trump to declassify a variety of government documents is now underway. That is huge news. We need transparency. Joining us now with more is investigative journalist, Executive Vice President of the Hill, John Solomon. Is this like an office of transparency?
Yes, it is, and it could be as announced as early as next week, and it gives the president the opportunity to no longer rely on the bureaucracy at DOJ or DNI or all the other alphabet soup agencies that haven't given us transparency. He'll have the ability through this office to release documents, and tonight, my sources tell me there are 3 explosive documents from the Obama era that could be at the top of the list on this declassification process that could give us an entirely new story about what went on under President Obama, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. One of those are some letters between the Iranian leaders and the President Obama, in which Obama promised the Iranians that they could keep their ability to enrich uranium. That's a little bit different than the story we've been hearing for the last few years. The second is a series of intelligence reports that were given to the committee that approved the Uranium One purchase. Remember that? Remember the Obama administration telling us there were no red flags. My sources tell me these documents show there were red flags raised. And then third is this annex that the Inspector General Michael Horowitz prepared that shows what the FBI wanted to look at the end of the Hillary Clinton investigation, highly classified, sensitive evidence that agents were not allowed to look at. All 3 of those documents could be big revelations this fall.
All right, last question, John, because this is important. You were the one, and you and I actually put this together because you had 3, I had 3, and we had 1 that were different. I was talking about the Durham Barr report, which I think will be on the counterintelligence issues. You were talking about the leaking. Again, now we're talking about the reports that'll come out. But the one on Comey We now know, I've heard it's 65 pages. I heard in this it will be devastating to Comey, but for the time being, the Attorney General has decided not to go forward with charging him for lying or the espionage violations, as it is expected that Comey's up to his eyeballs in the FISA abuse portion, which will be devastating, so Lindsey Graham says, and others.
Just like we've been saying.
Yeah, listen, tomorrow, if the report is released tomorrow, whatever day it's released, will be a damning day. And we've already given you the top line a few weeks ago on your show, which was great. Tomorrow will be a day to understand why James Comey was fired. When you see the conduct laid out in this report, and also the report that came out in 2018 about his handling of the Clinton email investigation, you'll see why President Trump and the senior officials at the Justice Department felt confident they should fire James Comey. It will be a day of vindication, I believe, for the president in his judgment to get rid of the disgraced former FBI director.
That we were right and the media mob was wrong the whole time. All right, John
facts
Solomon,
are a stubborn thing.
Thank you. All right, the former FBI director.
There you go. That we were right and everybody else was wrong the whole time. Get used to it. This is what we do. We get to the bottom of all the shit.
I mean, think about it. I mean, this is coming out. It's almost like a boomerang. It's coming back again because what's happening is uranium one. Well, now some Canadian. That's not even our own country. What's happening? What do you mean? What's going on there? Got hushed up. So now they're saying that these key documents are letters from the president of Iran and Obama saying, look at, you work with us. I'll let you keep on doing your enrichment. Get that yellow cake, dude.
A little bit of
Get
yellow
that
cake.
yellow cake, man. You do all the baking you want of the yellow cake and you have. Keep this narrative going. Don't listen. The secretary I got going right now, she's pretty, pretty dirtbaggish. But look at, man, she's doing some deeds. Here, cook your cake. Look this way. I mean, this is as fundamentally, vulgar as that sounds. That's exactly what happened. And these documents coming out are going to be huge. It's like, Mike and I were saying that, things are happening. Things have happened. And now the mainstream's just catching on around like, oh, by the way, there's some more documents coming out with the D-Class. I think a bunch of other people knew about D-Class as well.
I agree. No, it's just been muddled, folks. All right, they've been able to do these clean, clear, investigative, good work, all in the background, quietly, while all this lies and filth and evil was out in the forefront. All right, the media did a great disjustice to everybody and proved themselves. So has Trump been wrong this whole time calling them fake news? Yes, because they've been reporting on nonsensical lies. If they would have done any bit of researching and digging, I mean, the whole time people would come on and be like, well, what about Hillary? Didn't she pay the foreign, they keep talking about this foreign interference into our election. Well, okay. Yeah. And you guys looked into the Trump, Russia, foreign possible collusion interference, and you found nothing. But we know where it did exist, and that was with Christopher Steele, Fusion GPS, Nellie and Bruce Orr, fired people from the FBI that were still given credibility to give stuff, and then they paid somebody. They held that from the FISA. It was a well-orchestrated, planned out, rigged, crazy time in our history. It's going to be a huge taint. Yes. These people are going down. Make no mistake. I can't rally everyone enough to just know that this is the truth. And you might be like, we know it's a true. You guys aren't bad. Great show you got going here. But just ain't nothing going to happen. That would be the devastating part. But these people, I mean, at this point, Hillary can never win again. There's no way. There's no way these people will ever be in office again. People are distancing themselves from Obama now. They're saying the order came from the Obama down. We got the text from Stroke. The president wants to be in the loop and know everything going on. You're not supposed to be in the loop with the FBI. That's supposed to be a separate thing going on there.
Balance of powers.
Comey was worried about Trump asking about loyalty, and he's like, I think he took that to be to him. Loyalty. Are you loyal to me and my mob? No, he was talking about loyalty to the country. Are you loyal? Or do we have your loyalty? The U.S. And we didn't, because you guys were working with Obama and making up little, you know, here's our rogue fashion of the FBI, and we're going to implement bull crap. We're going to pay people. We're going to go screw the FISA courts over. We're going to hold information back. We're going to make sure that this comes through. That's why the first FISA didn't get through. It got denied. You guys didn't have the right stuff. You had to go back to the drawing board. We got to get a book. We got to get a dossier.
Tweak a little bit so it gets more ingestible and get this.
While he sits there this whole time on his high pedestal on Twitter thinking he's owed apologies, and when he ain't really owed nothing but a sell and Gitmo and you know, 3 hots and a cot, paid for by your taxpayer. You know, so
maybe a little bit of torture on the side, maybe.
Yeah, you know. I mean, if things happen, you know, be lucky enough to have a rat in there gnawing on his earlobe every night. Would be fine with me. So,
yeah, I would be okay with that proposition. So yeah, it is. Even hearing these things, I know that this is going to be piecemeal. You know, we use terms like Baker, follow the breadcrumbs. He's not saying follow the loaf of bread, follow that big old, you know, ham hock over there, follow this big, you know, big chunk of turkey. They're using things like crumbs, follow this pathway. All this is words to donate long-term delving into these deep situations, because these things are so incredibly grand and large and complex. There's no way for any single person to truly comprehend every spider web aspect of what's truly going on in these agencies, these organizations. I mean, Mike and I, being prior military, and Woodman said it before, I mean, we're acutely aware of compartmentalization. We know how that works, and we know how powerful that is, and how we've ourselves been subjected to that. Like, it's a need to know basis, and you don't need to know. Okay, we all heard that one before. But when it starts getting up in the executive, the judicial, I mean, we're talking, this is what controls, because we've given them power since 1871 to the District of Columbia. And so now.
So, well, off that video, Solomon reports basically that, look at the comments here, but that his sources have told him that President Trump is basically getting, told him that, what's this say here? Told him that President Trump is preparing to declassify a number of these documents. He's already given the authority to Barr to declassify, but and then
they have to go through Barr because Barr has to make sure that there's no information.
Yeah, there's nothing there that can
that's going to
screw up some other investigation, other ongoing. So, but they're preparing to declassify a number of documents that have been hidden from the public to protect our former Manchurian president, Barack Hussein Obama, right?
Classic.
So to accomplish that, President Trump will have to essentially tear down the wall of protection that currently makes it impossible to obtain any evidence of wrongdoing by any government agency under the guise that the release of information would threaten national security. Because forever they've used that guise, right? National security,
lock it up, throw away the key.
So to accomplish that, President Trump will have to essentially tear down the wall of protection that currently makes it impossible under the threat of national security. To end that, the president is putting the finishing touches on what would essentially be an Office of Transparency that may be announced as soon as this week. Let's see Trump detractors complain about that.
An Office
so we're gonna
of
watch this video.
Transparency. Yes.
Let me see here.
Ooh.
I'll copy that URL and put that right in
here and whip it on up some like that.
And then do a little bit of this.
And bit of full screeny. Look at that,
say it as simply as I
Manchurian.
can. Transparency and the rule of law will be the touchstones of this presidency.
Let's do that again.
I didn't quite hear you.
Let me say it as simply as I can. Transparency and the rule of law will be the touchstones of this presidency.
do it one more time with the. That was good. That was real good.
That was good. Good. I don't know. Did you get that one again? I don't know. You know, he's the touchstone for his administration.
So this gives the president the opportunity to no longer rely on the bureaucracy of the DOJ or the ODNI, all other alphabet soup agencies that haven't given us transparency. That's what Solomon said right here. Solomon. So he'll have the ability through his office to release the documents. As critical as transparency is to returning control of the weaponized deep state to its citizens, is what Solomon said. After that, it will rock American politics to its core. Now, this guy Solomon I trust him a lot. Solomon, my sources tell me that there are 3 explosive documents from the Obama era that could be at the top of the list on the declassification process that can give us an entirely new story about what went on under Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. One of those are some of the letters between Iranian leaders and the president, President Obama at the time, in which Obama promised the Iranians that they could keep their ability to enrich uranium. And then they had we had the whole story the whole time that was opposite. So that's a little bit different than the story we've been hearing for those years. The second is a series of intelligence reports that were given to the committee that approved the Uranium One purchase. Remember Obama administration telling us that there were no red flags?
Yellow flag.
My sources tell me that there were red flags raised. Third is the annex that the Inspector General Michael Horowitz prepared that showed what the FBI wanted to look at the end of the Hillary Clinton investigation. Highly classified, sensitive evidence that agents were not allowed to look at. Let's take a look at them one at a time. It's widely reported in the intelligence circles that candidate Obama had opened a back channel to Iran during the 2008 presidential campaign. In 2014, Michael Leedon, a former consultant to the National Security Council and U.S. Department of Defense Department, wrote that Obama's strategy towards Iran was clear. It was detente first, and then full alliance with Iran through the Middle East and North Africa. Yeah, let's give Iranians $150 billion and a path to nuclear weapons. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
So
I'm telling you, man.
Where the F was the mainstream matrix media during this whole time. We reported this story before 2016 elections were censored on social media for peddling fake news. April of 2015, the New York Times reported that Hillary Clinton's foundation was receiving massive donations from Russian sources, as much as $145 million, according to some sources. What was most curious was the timing. It was shortly after the approval of the Uranium One to Russia sale. Then crickets. A few Saudis stayed in a hotel owned by the Trump organization, and all hell breaks loose in the media. Trump is receiving emoluments. Hillary profits hugely from the sale of critically national security assets, and the media yawns.
Nice.
Where the F was the mainstream matrix media? We reported this story before the 2016 election and were censored on social media for peddling fake news. As for the Clintons' email travesty, the details were unavoidable. But somehow the media convinced Americans that it was a matter not worthy of any accountability. Let's help elect her president instead. Where the F was the mainstream Marxist media. We reported this story when it broke, but our site was deplatformed. Patriot Crayer picked up later reporting, and we wrote before the 2016 election, and was again censored for peddling fake news. It's a long time past the Office of Transparency if we have any hope of reining in and out of control of Leviathan that our government has become. That was a pretty good little article there.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's so incredibly true, because it's like if we don't have the ability to get our information. I know what you are thinking. How many times I'm going to hear the same BS and see nothing happening. I feel your pain, and I'm skeptical too. However, These things take time. And if you are going about exposing essentially treason of your predecessor, you best make sure to cross all your T's and dot all your I's. Never mind how long it would take to find men and women with the guts to help you in that suicide mission. Fingers crossed. So that's that's a great point. That is the suicide mission. How many people have been suicided off, gone away because that's
honestly,
what we
that just goes to say for everybody out there that does make a nasty comment, like the most in their life, and not to degrade anybody, but it's like the most in your life has ever been done was watching and hoping somebody else would come. You're waiting for your Superman. Be my Superman. I ain't gonna do nothing. Well, what are you doing? It's like, so at least we have somebody trying, and things are getting. This shit was never being exposed in the past presidents. We'd have the Republican versus Democrat, and they would talk about, we're gonna do, he raised taxes on you guys, and that was like the devious thing that they would talk about. It wasn't like he's a pedophile and they do crooked stuff. Crooked Hillary. He had nicknames for all these people. Lion Ted. I mean, it was everything. So
Sleepy Joe.
So I don't know, again, how many times I know you've heard this BS and see nothing happen. I feel your pain. I too am skeptical. However, these things take time, let alone finding somebody that would actually want to do it. These are treasonous activities of the previous predecessor. Wow.
At the highest level, too. I mean, these people, what Q told us, or actually suggested in a question, is how do you get leverage over people who kill people? That's the game. That's the level that these people are at. Not Mike and I right now. We're not operators. We're not in that level. We don't do that craziness at that part in the military anymore. Not even on the Hill. We're doing what we can do. Coming up here, I've talked about, I want to look into our local polling places and see where they're at, and can I be an inspector, or how can I help locally? I mean, if it's something as small as passing on, hey, the Constitution's awesome. Well, yeah, cool. Why don't you read it sometime? Just that might spark something in as you're going through a cashier. Get your morning coffee. So here you go, man. Here's enjoy that fiat currency. Take some of that. Oh, God bless you. There you go. And they'd be like, fiat, is it a car? If you just plant the seed, you're doing more than sitting on the couch and watching, or sitting on the couch and doing and being more focused inward. That's where I think you start receiving more blessings when you start passing it on. And if you get something, you push it on and you push it on. I mean, we see the classic with Fluid Pour by Art, Art by Greg. I mean, what a great thing from just passing it on to now solidifying, a friend for life, man. It's super awesome. The blessings go far beyond the monetary. And that is a part of it, but it's just so huge.
I agree. So, I'm looking at some headlines here. Looks like Trump ripped the labor. So, Mark of the Beast, workers in Wisconsin wear I Got Chipped t-shirts celebrating their new implants. It's kind of interesting. Mark of the Beast, workers in Wisconsin wear I Got Chipped t-shirts celebrating new implants. The fake news media is pushing microchip implants as new and trendy. I got chipped. I'm multiplying.
It's multiplying.
And I'm losing
control.
Employees at the 3 Square Markets in River Falls, Wisconsin actually celebrated by wearing I Got Chipped t-shirts after they were implanted with microchips by their bosses. The microchips are the size of a grain of rice, and they were embedded into the hands of employees for 3 Square Market, a vending company that makes kiosks to dispense food and beverages. It was done supposedly for the purpose of convenience, and employees' hands can now be read to verify their identity. Wow.
This is funny because Just let's do a little tech history here. Okay, as we get current, technology should get smaller, which it is. RFIDs have been around since the 30s, 40s. We've understood about activating small things. It's funny they call it the mark of the beast because I think it's kind of a funny joke actually, because it's like people, they have micro dust.
Yeah,
we're talking micro or nano dust. I mean, we're talking this is AI equipped. At Notre Dame, they are working on nanotechnology, and they already have most of the medical stuff pretty much locked up. You think something the grain of rice? That thing is huge. They use that for animals, cows, things of this nature. And it's great for security if it's implanted in something, because it's really hard to hack that. Although on a wireless level, you still can. So think about it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's hilarious that they get these people to do this. I've been chipped. I just see a bunch of cats and dogs that don't want to go back to the pound. And if they go away, they know where they're at.
Yeah, that's... Go ahead and read this one here. This is just popped up.
Yeah, Facebook's fact checker backtrack follows enormous errors regarding BLP's Jeffrey Epstein coverage. Alan Duke of Lead Stories has admitted some, but not all, of the mistakes in his bogus fact checking.
So this must be that guy here to the left. This Alan Duke.
Shifty. Start calling him Shifty Duke. Facebook's new Ministry of Truth, led by disreputable fact-checking operations like Lead Stories, has been initiated to stifle independent voices on a social media giant. But they have been caught and forced to backtrack after trying to suppress news about camera malfunctions near Jeffrey Epstein's cell during its mysterious death at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City last month. There was no media reports that a camera monitoring Epstein's cell area malfunctioned in the hours before the accused sex trafficker's death on Saturday, August 10th, 2019, claimed Duke. Oh, Shifty Duke.
Oh,
the 26-year-old Duke Shifty, the 26-year-old veteran of CNN who co-founded Lead Stories, in a blatant deception within the bogus fact check of the story that initially broke on the big league politics. Oh, Shifty Duke's analyst was false because big league politics referenced a media report by digital media specialist Michael Cordray as that he initially refused to acknowledge in his phony fact check. So there was no alleged camera malfunction. Last night, Jeffrey Epstein locked up. After we, I mean, there is nothing.
There's a tweet by
There's a tweet right there.
Cordray.
Mm-hmm. No malfunction. After we contacted Shifty Duke and emphasized that Corday's report was specifically listed in our article, he refused to own up to his mistakes while stating decisively that no camera malfunctions occurred near Epstein's jail cell. We did reach out to Michael Cordray, the digital info warfare marketer who initially tweeted the false information. As you likely know, the past several days we have confirmed our conclusion that the camera malfunction claims was false. Shifty Duke wrote in an email in Big League Politics.
Shifty Duke Nukem.
Shifty Duke. We did not have a narrative. We do not have a mission of countering crappy reporting that repeats unsourced tweets by someone with an agenda. False narrative. Basing this sensible claim on Cordray tweet put you on thin ice, Shifty Duke added.
Shifty Duke.
Duke Shifty eventually listed his false ratings on Cordray's tweet. That was proven to be correct, but he still has the audacity to claim that there was a clear video of the hallway outside the cell, despite the fact that the investigators have reported that 2 cameras surrounding Epstein's cell mysteriously malfunctioned around the time of his death. Shifty Duke remains firmly committed to promoting the mainstream narrative despite all evidence to the contrary. Although Cordray was ultimately vindicated, he still believes social media giants use of fake checkers has turned out to be nothing more than a fraudulent pretense to silence free thought and dissent. Many of their employees have extreme liberal bias, and it is indicative on their website and personal social media profiles, Cordray explained in a comment to Big Leagues. Should Facebook not address this issue immediately, we will have to organize federal executive action to prevent such unfair and deceptive trade practices from occurring in the future, Cordray added. Man,
Lead Stories is still refusing to acknowledge their mistaken fact check toward big league politics. Well, this is a big league politics story, so they're hammering it home.
Yes, they are.
Finding fault in our report because we noted that there was no video of Epstein inside his cell during his mysterious death, despite the fact that no footage of Epstein's cell has ever been produced or acknowledged to exist by investigators. Duke belligerently, Shifty Duke belligerently, folks, refuses to budge despite his shoddy work. Shady Duke. Despite his shoddy work, Shady Duke, a lifetime CNN hack at best, known for his frequent collaborations with Nancy Grace, the queen of fake news, after her shameful Duke lacrosse coverage, remains the judge, jury, and potential executioner when it comes to the conservative news organizations, as his biased work can ultimately cause a removal of a page from Facebook. As Cordy mentioned, this problem will not be solved until President Donald Trump takes action against these propagandists, handpicked by big tech monopolies to stand in the way of freedom and speech and access to accurate information on the net. For more on this, visit this page for yourself.
Shifty Duke.
Shoddy work of Duke Nukem.
Shifty, shoddy Duke is nuking himself, I'm telling you. And of course,
Shoddy.
they say the president should do something about this.
He should. That's shoddy work.
That's shoddy, shifty work.
You got to bypass that big tech censorship, folks, all right? Facebook, Twitter, Google are actively restricting conservatives' content through algorithm-based software. We all know this. Silicon Valley doesn't want you and your message to get out and be free. So make sure you get over here to the Patriot Hour and leave your comment down below. Here, we don't censor. Now, some of the mods might, if it's just outright, like...
Well, you know what? Vulgarity is not really necessary.
Well,
I can still communicate.
Yeah, there's a line of words. We all know what cuss words are. We don't have to have some kind of committee, all right? So
don't have no grand jury and give them only parts of the cuss word out of the dictionary, not the new modern slang, and they have everything.
Yeah, that's equivalent,
Oh, this is hilarious, because it's exactly what's happening. This is nothing new, where somebody who has a little bit of power in the media, his handlers give him a little bit of reins. Okay, there you go, our little puppet. You see what you can do. Impress your handler. Goes out and says a little something, and immediately the truth slaps that lie in the face, and the lie has to get up, and the guy is like, freaking out, like, see?
Now, we have been on topic, just to change it here a little bit, with shooters, mass shooters. Now, here's one that didn't really fit the narrative. Alabama high school. Now, we know one of our mods is down in that area. I don't know what area, Alabama. She's in Alabama somewhere. Amy the mod, Alabama high school mass shooting with 10 victims, largely ignored by fake news media. It is being ignored because, well, unfortunately, it doesn't fit their narrative. This young gentleman here, a high school in Mobile, Alabama, was the site of the country's latest mass shooting on Friday night. After 10 teenagers were shot during a football game, D'Angelo Parnell, 17, has been charged with 9 counts of attempted murder and taken in by authorities in the aftermath of this gun attack. Mobile Police Chief Lawrence Bastite made a comment against young people bringing their beefs. He said, bringing up beefs that they have with each other. Ooh, where did that jump to?
In their neighborhoods and into public, and carelessly putting people in harm's way.
Our children and their families deserve to enjoy a high school football game or any public event without the thought of gun violence. Mobile Mayor Sandy Stimpson, not sure, Stimpson, said in his statement. So, as a community, we will heal. As a community, we have to get the guns out of the hands of our youth, he added. Horrifying footage of the football team scurrying to take cover and dodge bullets was posted on the social media. We'll be taking a look here, give you 5 seconds to turn away or put your head under your pillows.
Or if
you can plug your ears too, but you can't change the truth. Just because your ears are plugged doesn't change the fact that the truth is being spoken.
If any children in there,
no, we get you. We'll give you time to get the children out of there.
Looks like they're all chilling, and
you see them all scurrying right here. They're shooting. That. You guys probably can't hear it.
How come they're? Yeah, man. Why like?
Do you hear it now?
Yep.
Hold on. All right. So there
crazy.
you go.
I mean, we're talking.
So this is just horrific to watch from Ladd Peebles Stadium. Football coaches instructing players to take cover. Fans hiding under the stands from a suspected shooting. This is a high school football game and should be a place of fun and competition for everyone, not violence. So Batista maybe believes that Parnell's alleged rampage may have been a directed threat at one or two individuals, and other people just happened to fall prey to their carelessness. In the chaos of the scene, one individual suffered a seizure while another individual hurt their hand. It is unclear whether they were shot or got injured, or everyone was running for their lives after gunfire was heard. Why are young people bringing this type of violence to public events? Batista said that at a news conference, we're going to have more aggressive on our end, be more aggressive on our end as a city, as how to we hold these individuals accountable. Parnell turned himself into authorities at 3:30 a.m. and his bond hearing is scheduled to take place on Monday. Bautista claims that the surveillance footage from the high school makes it very clear that Parnell was the individual responsible for the shooting. Although 10 people were struck during the mass shooting and the incident was deeply shaken the community, there is no wall-to-wall coverage about it from fake news. Although news entities have picked up on the story, it's not dominating the headlines and being talked about constantly by the cable news networks, like the traditional stories. So to the fake news, Black lives don't matter in mass shootings because they cannot be exploited to push gun control and the demonetization of American patriots.
Man.
So it's pretty
and you know what's
pretty
scary
factual.
is
I mean, the way they work that.
Batista, whatever that Batiste, whatever, was saying that we need to get the guns. We need to get these guns out of the hands of the youth.
We don't hear that at all.
You hear me now? You got it going on?
I don't know if your power cut out or what.
Hear me now? I should have power. Check 1, 2. I'm good. No nothing. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Ooh, I hear you now.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, I was saying that. Oh, nice. Okay, Ambulance. All right, cool. No, I was saying that it's interesting how they say we need to take the guns out of our youths after a situation like this. Not even talking about how the Black Lives Movement won't use this as, oh, this is not really working, but I think we do need to get rifles and training and the proper marksmanship skills in our youth, so they know how the safeties and what it is. It's like saying we need to get the hammer and the nails and the saws and
then you
all
do
the
that
jigs.
early enough. We talked about it, that instills there's never going to be accidents with guns, because everybody from a young early age are going to learn the safety procedures, and that you don't point and just don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot, and the typical things. And that can go as far as like even with flag training, flag etiquette to instill.
Oh my
you need
gosh,
that at an
yes.
early age. There's fundamental things, folks. Not just about gun training, but there's other things that have been lacking to do with gun training, to do with flag training, to do with respect. Lots of that has been lost with. I don't know, but it's sad,
we
sad
talk about
state.
it's parenting, man. We as parents need to be accountable for this next generation coming up, and so it's like, we're seeing this stuff, and thank God there was a lot of people there who had enough sense to get out of the way, get low, get away from the situation, and there wasn't more injured individuals or possibly loss of life. But it again, I can guarantee. There was some sign outside that football stadium, and by the way, that was probably on a high school property, which is illegal to have firearms on.
Gun-free zone.
So that in and of itself, now a criminal came in and did criminal activity. Who should be blamed? Who should we point the finger at? That criminal or the laws that protect everybody who are not breaking the law?
Yeah.
So, our hearts go out to everybody who is injured, and we pray for a speedy recovery. But I will not use this situation as a way, like a lot of individuals who don't like America and don't like what's happening here, to take away the rights for firearms. It's huge, you guys. It's huge. They're trying to push it in every way, shape, or form as much as they can. Mike and I always talk about retaining your constitutional rights that were given to you by this creator.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So,
all right, we were going to take some phone calls, but I think we're going to go ahead and shut her down because we're at over the hour mark. I just want to kind of jump on for an hour, but tomorrow's another day. We don't know. We're going to maybe try phone calls tomorrow morning, see if people on their different schedules are able to call in, maybe go in. We don't want to get any kind of accident. But if you're listening on your lunch break or your morning break or on your way in, if there's a possibility you can call in and keep driving with, if you're at the right spot to call, don't get any accidents or anything. We don't promote that.
Use the hand-free sets. So
hands-free,
and put us on
don't be
speed
trying
dial.
to watch the show and call in and all that stuff at the same time. Can't be doing that.
The information's more important than the visuals.
You're just doing the motion up there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, only working at about an 8-second delay. Not bad, not bad. Put your hand up there. 1. Put your hand up to your eyes.
2, 3, 4, 5. We're rocking and staying alive.
No, see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're staying alive.
Rocking and stay alive.
That's hilarious.
And see, now you guys, that's a little glimpse into our little back behind the scenes of the Patriot Hour there.
Yes, the phone lines will be open tomorrow. Until then, save your dime. But we appreciate it. You guys, a couple people were calling in just for mentioning phone call, and they had their hand on the dial. Don't lose the number. Make sure you call in. Again, this is just your little rush hour, lunch hour, munch and crunch of some truth and some tidbits, some great articles. Obama, Uranium One, Hillary, all of that. Don't forget. Remember, it's been being investigated. Crimes against children, Wiener laptop. They got it all. We have it all. Don't fall victim to the Comey didn't go down for taking a couple of government pencils from the work office.
small time pity patty kind of work. We're going for
we got
the
23
big stuff.
charges against the guy. We're only dropping 2 of them. Who knows? So, all right, Obama's future in jeopardy. Keep that in mind. Declassification will rock the political game, and
At
we're going
least
to be here.
3
to bring that to you.
documents we're going to be getting first and foremost. We're looking for those and much more to follow.
Oh,
so
yes.
we're definitely excited.
So
Shower of declassification.
regardless of
He's
whether
safe.
they go down, this information will come. Now, is the deep state still got that much hold to keep the glues of their propaganda arm together? We'll see. Or has it all been loosened and shattered by Trump and the administration and the teams? We'll see. But just remember, declassification will show the role of the past administrations in the uranium one, the Iranian deal that looking like it's coming out. And
For all to see, all countries, we the people, our country, everybody sees. When it comes to D-class, it's not just American D-class.
it's how
If
much
you can
eyes
see
get
it,
on that, too, that D-class.
Everybody on this earth can see it.
So the choice to know will be yours. God bless each and every one of you here from the Patriot Hour, and we'll see you back here on the next Patriot Hour tomorrow morning for a live show. Other than
God
that,
bless.
we'll see you
Be
later.
good to one another.
God bless each and every one of you. You guys are some of the greatest patriots we ever did meet, and we'll see you back here real soon. Have a great afternoon.